went to the office, I gave the audition, they kind of liked my audition, and that's how I got the movie. So I always had that feel in me, I actually wanted to hold a gun in my life. I want to see how it exactly feels, how that power feels. Is this going to be a positive character or a negative character? Am I putting my people down here? Am I stepping on them in order to getting a little fame? For example, you saw the movie, you will get emotional for the first time. Second time, you have already seen it, so you'll not get emotional. So yeah, as a Kashmiri, how did you feel? Thank you, Rex. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome to our ATube channel, Waheed alias Umair.
Thank you very much, Rex. Thanks for having me here.
It's fantastic to have you here in my humble abode. See, everybody has a journey. It's like, joining the dots and getting their dream fulfilled when we don't even know it is a dream.
Yes.
So like that, for instance, for me, when I was, a lot of people know that when I was 7, my mother, my aunt, my grandmother and mother, we used to play Scrabble. They taught me Scrabble, word building game in English.
Okay.
And then I used to read a book a day, a story book a day, right from when I was 8 years old, and I had to tell my mother the story.
Okay.
So it was like inbuilt
in you,
getting to understand English the way English should be spoken and stuff like that.
Yes.
And at that time, I never dreamt I'd land up being a subtitlist.
Okay.
And I was so happy being a GMGW, which is good mother, great wife.
Oh, that's a good thing.
And suddenly this happened,
okay.
And so like that, there's always, whether you believe in God or the force or whatever, you're in the right place at the right time and something wonderful happens to you.
Yes.
And that's what I think Amaran did to you.
Exactly. So I first and foremost, I'll thank God for this. And then mostly I feel like it was destined. As you say, the connection of dots, it actually happened that way. Because long back when you dig deep into my story, my mother and my father came to Chennai in the year 1999 and almost been 25 years for them. And I never visited Chennai before that. So I used to live with my grandparents, and it was a wonderful treat for me because, grandparents, they treat you the best way possible. And then when I finished my schooling and I was like, okay, cool, now this is the time. Let's go to a better city to get better education. Because at that time, Kashmir had an unrest, and that everybody knows, even though we have shown it in Amaran.
Better city is a little of a question mark because
it's
your homeland, right?
Yeah, better city in a way, like let's say Chennai in terms of education, in terms of infrastructure. Kashmir is a beauty. That's a secondary thing. That's a secondary question. But I was talking about the infrastructure and the education system. So when I came here, and it was completely difficult for me for first 2-3 years. First year, it was really difficult. I was not able to understand the language. It felt like suffocation sort of a thing because I was not able to communicate. English was okay, but then when you go in college, people usually, when localites, they will speak in the normal native language, and it was really difficult for me. So I felt, okay, no, this is not the right time to be here. Maybe I should go back. Maybe I have taken one wrong decision of my life. But then I was like, no, this is not going to be me. This is not my character. I have to just stand up for myself. And then I started making up friends, and then I had conversations with people. And with
how did you learn Tamil?
Exactly, that is where am I coming to the point. So that is how first year it was really difficult. Second year I started, mugging up things, having conversations with people. And luckily that was 1 year. And then after that, preceding year, the COVID struck. And it was just like gone game for me. Then I was not able to continue with Tamil. Then again, I went back to Kashmir. Then luckily last year, my mother got diagnosed with a disease, and then we have to come to Chennai again in order to, get her cured. So I consulted a doctor. Meanwhile, that was the another reason of me coming back to Chennai again. Otherwise, I had made my mind stable. I'm going to go be there in Kashmir and do my business and whatever possible. But then again, it was luck. I came back, I started learning Tamil again because you always have to have a conversation. So that flow came in, and that is how I got introduced to RKFI, Raj Kamal's. Some of the assistant directors came to Mahabalipuram where we have my father's store located, and we had a conversation, and he was like, okay, fine, you're a good person, you look nice, and then have you ever acted in front of a camera? And I was like, yeah, I have acted, but not like verbally, but I've just physically acted like for ads and model shoots and stuff. I was like, okay, then that's fine. You have to give an audition. So I went to the office, I gave the audition, they kind of liked my audition, and that's how I got the movie.
Bingo, and now you're the most wanted in the right way.
Hopefully, yeah, I guess I've done justice for the character, because sometimes, like, it was your childhood dream. Always, your mother, your grandparents, they actually teach you Scrabble. So that's how when I be in Kashmir, there was an unrest at a good amount period of a time. So I was always able to see the army men and the stone pelting and situations happening like that. So I always had that feel in me. I actually wanted to hold a gun in my life. I want to see how it exactly feels, how that power feels, and how a person in that uniform feels like. Because you are always on the other side of the book. You have never seen that side of the book. You have to learn that. So that gave me an opportunity to feel that, to understand what power feels like, what holding a gun looks like. Because when in Kashmir there's Bakri, usually small kids, they not in a bad way, intentionally, like on Diwali you play with firecrackers and stuff, and Eid we get small pistols and guns, and then two gangs, they will form as small kids, and then we fight each other, and that's a different story. So always that weaponry was there. I just wanted to hold it. I want to see how it exactly felt. So that's when I got the character, and I was like, oh, this is nice, let's do it, let's see. But again, when I got a conversation with the director, sir, and I was like, okay, fine, I know, because there's a stereotype about Kashmir. You're going to show me in a movie. Is this going to be a positive character or a negative character? Am I putting my people down here? Am I stepping on them in order to getting a little fame? Because if that is the case, that I don't want to do it. Because by the end of the day, if I want to earn money, I can earn it in a different source, not by stepping upon emotions of my own individual, my own people. Because I'll be the representation of the face, rather than the conversation be anything, but the representation of the face will be me. So that was my main concern. But where he told me, no, this is not going to happen. Like, it's really realistic. What has happened? We're showing those things. What has happened? And I just went through the script. I read everything, and I was like, okay, yeah, these things have actually happened. So yeah.
While watching this movie, you know that I watched some 20 versions, 40 times, whatever the number.
Yes.
Every time my heart just went to you when you're kidnapped. I'm sorry for the spoiler, but when you get kidnapped,
yeah.
You were so realistic. The way you stumble, you come, and then you say two things I really liked the way you said it. One was later on saying, I was not scared even for a minute, and you said it with so much of pride.
Yes.
That pride came through in your voice.
Yes.
And earlier, when the guy asked about you and who taught you, were you heading the operation? You said, I headed the command of the operation. So this acting came naturally to you, or was it something that was taught to you on the set?
No, actually, when this thing happened, Raj sir showed me a video clip of a particular individual who was being kidnapped at a particular amount of a time, and I was able to understand, and I was able to feel his emotions, and like, this has happened realistically, so I have to get into that zone, because certain emotions can be felt only once. For example, you saw the movie, you will get emotional for the first time. Second time, you have already seen it, so you'll not get emotional. Same thing was with me as well, because okay, this person is getting kidnapped. Maybe for the first time I might feel emotional, but all my life I've seen that kidnap, I have seen that unrest, so it was not realistically coming up to me. I have to act into it. It was not coming from inside. Okay, I have to feel it unless and until I have to go into that zone, feel it again. So it was really difficult for me to go into that zone. But luckily, somehow I just pulled it, because in order to get into the character, makeup does a lot of things. So that prosthetic, when it came up, it just got into me, and due to that prosthetics, I was not able to eat, I was not able to drink. So that is how it actually nourished my character. When I felt weak, I felt tumbling. So that was a realistic thing coming out of me, and it felt really good on the camera, and people actually liked it. So yeah.
And also saying, why did you save me and you go to safety, sir, to escape?
Yeah, so that was a realistic feeling. All of that trouble you're taking for me, just one life, you're putting the whole cat team under trouble. But he had that faith and love for me, maybe because his imagination was, okay, fine, this is a Kashmiri, he knows Tamil, he helped me a lot in every situation. So that is the main reason he came up for me to help. So in those emotions were reconnecting, every dot was being connected. That is how I was able to feel at that point of a time. So these things actually came realistically well.
But for a debut performance on the silver screen, hats off to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So yeah, that is true. Everybody is appreciating it. I really like it. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people are really appreciating it, and I be thankful to my parents, my God.
To my viewers, I need to mention this specifically. This movie, when you watch it, has a lot of Kashmiri dialogue. Then it was para-dubbed, and it had some Tamil and some Hindi, and there were a lot of parts that we didn't know what the actual English translation subtitle was. And the ADs knew the content, but
Yeah.
they were unaware of the art of subtitling. So, they would say, this is the content, this is what happens, you fill it in. But you can't do that when you're subtitling.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
So, one of the ADs, Sam, had the right sense to call. He said, I will do it for you. And he says, this is Wahid alias Umair. And he calls you up and asks you to come. He asked you to come and you landed. That was the best thing that happened to me, because I was like wondering, oh my God, how am I going to do this?
No, see, the thing is, in the back of my head as well, I had a lot of questions, okay? Because my part, being as an actor, I just have to act in front of a camera and that's my job. And once the dubbing is done and I was over with the movie. But then when subtitles were, when you had a conversation, you spoke to me very politely and I felt like a good vibe the moment I had a conversation, and I was like, yeah, that is what is mostly needed, and I will be a supporting character, because by the end of the day, it's gonna be my movie, okay, and I am I'm being a part of it, so it should be 100%. It should be properly good.
I was desperate, Umair, to tell you. I was so desperate. I was thinking, oh my God, this is Mukund from above guiding us. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I felt that spirit was there to make sure that this movie
comes. Yes, exactly. So that has always in me, like, because this being your first movie, you wanted it to be perfect. So I was like, okay, cool. If I would have been of a little help, let's do it this way.
This being my 685th movie, I wanted it to be perfect. I'm glad we bonded, because we wouldn't be, here.
Yeah, and absolutely, because the thing is, by the end of the day, in Kashmir, they found my Kashmiri really realistic, and because of somebody of my age, usually people speak another language called Hindi, Urdu, in order to have a conversation or in order to engage with the audience. But I have kept it always realistic with the people of Kashmir as well as the people of Tamil Nadu. When I be in Kashmir, I make vlogs, I make them in Kashmiri. So my Kashmiri was really strong, and I had a good confidence that I was able to help you in every other possible way, every dialogue that they have said, and I was able to understand it and make you understand them, so that you can write the subtitles in English.
You, because what you did was you patiently sat with us past midnight.
So the worst part, I'm sorry to cut you here. The worst part about this is I have to watch the movie on a small scale. Okay, being as an actor, when you want to watch a movie, it's your first movie, you want to watch it on a big screen. But rather than watching it on a big screen, I actually watched it on the laptop.
And then you had to look at the subs, not your own face.
Yes.
You have to look at the subtitle to make sure it's right.
Yeah, so that was like me being selfish to myself. Okay, fine, no, let it be for a better good. So hopefully that has come up on the screen. Yeah.
So the wee hours of the morning, you just sat through it twice, not just once.
Yes.
When we were showing it to the Ministry of Defence, and then later on for the final release.
Yes.
Both times there's a saying in Tamil, Abat Pandava Anada Rakshaka, means whatever God, you came in person and saved me, kind of thing.
Well, this was destined. Again, I say it was destined, and I don't know what to say. Yeah, that is what it is.
So you were watching all this, you were watching the subtitles and at the same time making sure the Kashmiri is being translated properly and all that. Did you find, you've been watching a lot of movies and with subtitles, so you know the difference. So did you think that the way I
do the subtitles.
I subtitle was any different from your previous?
Yeah, there was a huge difference, because usually when you see South Indian movies, the one who never knows the language, his main focus will be on the subtitles. And sometimes when in conversation you get stuck into a conversation, there's a flow which is not able to understand. Okay, whatever is said in English is completely different than the actual dialogue. But here, me knowing all the languages, that was Hindi, Tamil and Kashmiri, so I was able to feel that sync in the subtitles. What exactly has been said, there was a feeling which was actually shown in the subtitles as well. So there was a proper graph and a proper flow and use of English in a very good way, even though I felt like the songs also rhymed according to the words. So whenever you write a subtitle, it's really difficult for the songs to be written in a way that they actually align to the lyrics. But here it was done such a beautiful job, and I was able to figure it out. And it was a pretty much a brilliant of a job. Yeah.
Specifically done for the hearing impaired, so that they can differentiate the talkie portion from the music.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you so much that you noticed it in spite of all the pressure. See, we had a time constraint, a deadly deadline, and then.
A lot of dubs a lot of subtitles have to be done in a different. If it was one language, maybe it was Tamil, then it would have been easy for you. But it was, again, there was Hindi dialogues, there were Kashmiri dialogues, some dialogues you were not confident, so you have to call me up. But in English, you have done. By the end of the day, you have just done a beautiful job. Yeah.
No, and in fact, thank you. But in fact, to get to tell our audience,
yeah.
We don't want to go into details, but there was a particular dialogue which was so important to the movie.
Yes.
And Umair just kind of blew up. He said, "Oh my God, he's saying just the opposite man. And I just cannot forget that moment.
Yeah, that dialogue actually had a different meaning in Hindi. And
completely ulta.
Yeah, and they have dubbed it in a different manner. And last time I was the savior, I was like, okay, here we have to save this. Otherwise, that would have made the whole. Even though that scene was of mine, okay, and I did not want to ruin it. So because that had a huge impact about that dialogue, had a huge impact. So if it would have went the other way around, it would have been a disaster.
So. Another Raksha.
Yes.
Like the Operation Raksha.
Yes,
so,
yes.
So, thank you so much for being here. I really feel touched that you took the effort, came all the way here.
No worries.
What would you think is a question you would have liked to be asked which no one else did, or you would like to answer? Like something that you wanted to say and nobody asked you that question.
Well, see, everybody was asking me about Amaran, about the Kashmir part and about this. But nobody asked me. See, everybody will ask, okay, people of Tamil Nadu, because Mukund is from Tamil Nadu and these all things have happened. This is the whole situation. But nobody ever asked me, as a Kashmiri, how did you feel being in the movie?
Wow.
What was the main point? Like, what was the POV of a Kashmiri doing a movie? Nobody asked me that question. Everybody was like, okay, Tamil Nadu, Mukunda.
Please answer this question for ATube viewers.
So yeah, because see, again, you see, when you come from such a conservative area, it is really difficult to come out of that zone. You're being brought up in a situation which was tremendously, at times it was good, because for people of Kashmir are really good, but there are certain situations and circumstances which have led to a lot of things, and a lot of ideologies have been created regarding Kashmir. And also the movies, they create a lot of stereotype regarding Kashmir and this. So to come out of that, to go in front of a cinema, then you have a lot of burden on you. First will be the burden of the whole India and the burden of Kashmir separately. You know, people, because those are your people. You come from the same race. You do not want to step on them and then show yourself, okay, I am this and that. But by the end of the day, you come from a different nation as well, that's called India. Their point of view is different. So in order to match both the point of views, it is actually so much of a stress for an individual. Oh, am I showing the positive thing which will be positive for both of the people? I've seen life this way, I've seen life this way as well, because Kashmir is my first home and Chennai is my second home. So I was able to understand both the emotions. But a person who is a layman, he will never understand both the emotions. So in order to bridge that gap and get a common connect, so I have to step up forward. It took me a lot of stress, a lot of mentally challenging processes were there, because you know, when you show my YouTube, I was showing Kashmir as a positive intent, the culture of Kashmir and stuff. So people loved me for that. Now I was doing a role as a Kashmiri, but in an Indian army. It had a different, because everyone has a different point of view. So I always have to think, okay, will my people allow me to do this? Because by the end of the day, if I see, I will be termed as Kashmiri rather than Tamilian. That is what my culture is. That is what I might learn the language. That is my effort. And the love and appreciation that you give, I can take that by all my heart. But by the end of the day, my race, you will call me, this guy is a Kashmiri.
So are the Kashmiris okay with you doing this role?
See, they have not seen the movie yet, because it's not being released in Kashmir. So as long as in family, they have the pirated version is on internet, they have seen, I've sent them some clips. So that way they are actually happy with what I've done as acting. Not as, because they were not interested in watching the whole movie, and maybe they will want to watch it in a better quality or stuff like that. But they were happy with me doing this role and me taking the responsibility as a Kashmiri to learn a language and do something really good for the nation, for that
you've
state.
Been very honest about it. I mean,
Yeah.
you've been honest to everybody.
Yeah, because that is the reality. I do not want to sugarcoat things. What is real, and what is there, I don't know. There's everything on internet, so you can actually never hide it from
so
it.
I appreciate your integrity on all this, you know,
Yeah.
because it's like a tightrope walk that you did.
Yes.
Juggling two sides and
Exactly.
balance. And
Yeah.
It's not easy, and it can easily backfire any which way.
Yeah, that actually, I see, always there is repercussions of everything. If there is a positive thing, if somebody is commenting positive, there will be a negative thing as well, maybe because of a different intent of that individual. So you just have to focus on the positive. What you have done good is done good. If you see the reviews, my family is happy that Amaran has done good, their son has done good, he is in a good state and a good space. That is fine for me. That is what really matters. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Umair.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Wait 1 minute.
Thank you, Rex. Thank you very much. Thank you. Means a lot.